my shoulder feels like crap. Man, I missed that snatch and now my shoulder's feeling all tense and tight. My shoulder really hurts at the bottom of my bench press. I don't know why that is. Hey everyone, Marcus Philly here from Functional Bodybuilding, and have you been suffering from some shoulder aches and pains? Well, today I'm going to be talking about the shoulder and how we can use these 10 functional bodybuilding movements to help you feel better. The shoulder is one of the most complex and unique joints in the entire body. There's some 17 muscles that attach and insert at the shoulder, and the result is one of the most dynamic joints in the entire body. And when it starts to hurt, figuring out what's wrong and how to fix it is very intimidating. Which one of the rotator cuff muscles is bothering me? Is it internal rotation or external rotation I'm supposed to focus on? Is shoulder flexion when I lift my arm up or when I put it down? It gives even fitness professionals a headache and leaves you, the fitness enthusiast, lost. Functional Bodybuilding is very fortunate to have Adam Fetter on our team of master coaches for functional bodybuilding. As an experienced strength and conditioning coach, as well as a doctor of physical therapy, Adam has the ability to assess and construct training plans to get athletes out of pain and back on track with their shoulders. But what if you don't have access to a physical therapist like Adam? What if you just have a nagging shoulder injury and you want to know some good exercises that you can start to do to start feeling better today? Always my first recommendation when people ask me how they can navigate an injury is to consult with a professional if they can. Someone that can assess what is going on with your shoulder first can make the healing process so much more efficient and help you avoid these common frustrations that people face. And with that being said, sometimes I just want to use the knowledge that I have available to me to get moving again and to start doing some things that will help me feel better right away. Coincidentally, this has been my journey for the past 2 months. On October 5th, 2021, my wife's birthday, we did a birthday workout here at the gym, and I experienced a moderate injury to my shoulder that has lingered now for close to 2 months to some degree. It was frustrating and at times worrisome, but I was committed to continuing to train and move through it in a way that was smart and aligned with the goal of healing. The following movements played a big part in my healing process and helped me get my shoulder back on track. Additionally, I followed a few very simple principles surrounding the training of my shoulder during this time that helped me avoid setbacks or prolong my injury and healing process. The first general principle to follow is slow and controlled first. Use movements and tempos very intentionally. The second, think static isometric contractions regularly. Regardless of how I'm progressing, I always keep isometrics as part of the foundation of my healing process. Number 3, I was going to limit complex and fast movements. I would build these back slowly over time. That meant taking things like muscle ups and high-speed pull-ups out until I was ready to progress to them. The final principle, number 4 that I follow, is the pain scale 3 out of 10 rule. If it hurts past a 3 out of 10, then I just don't do it. But pain in the 3 range is fine to work through, as that's the path towards regaining confidence in your shoulder or other part of the body. Okay, let's dive into the 10 movements that help me get back on track and that can help you too. We're going to break this into 5 movement patterns. The first is pushing. Exercise number 1, the landmine press. This unique implement might be one of my favorite tools for rebuilding strong overhead pressing that is pain-free. It's helped me and countless clients enhance range of motion overhead with the combination it offers in stability as well as freedom of range of motion. This implement is going to allow your shoulder blade a safe and stable environment to rotate while pressing up and over your head. You can really press fully and let your shoulder blade rotate on the way up. I like to incorporate a variety of kneeling positions as well as standing. Each one demands a little bit more or less out of the hips and the midline for stability. The second exercise is an eccentric focused push-up. The push-up is so foundational to shoulder health. Connecting the hands to the floor while the body moves up and down is a closed chain exercise, which is a safe and secure way to rebuild confidence and sharpen your motor control. The keys to using this for shoulder health are as follows. Emphasize the eccentric strength by slowing down on the way down in the movement. You can even perform negatives by themselves and then just assist yourself back to the top of the push-up. Once lowering is feeling good, I would suggest moving to an extended range of motion. Use parallettes for this. Once you've gotten confident in the slow lowering to an extended range of motion, at this point you can start to intensify your concentric strength or upward phase of the lift. You can start pressing faster, you can start adding weight, you can start adding band tension. Okay, let's move on to the pulling movement pattern. The first exercise here is the face pull. The face pull can be done easily with a set of bands, rings, or cables if you have access. Incorporating the upper back, trapezius, rotator cuff muscles, this movement is powerful. Follow these points of performance to get the max benefit and keep the tension low for now. Make sure your elbows stay high and turn the back of your hands towards your face. Range of motion is really important, and loading needs to be moderate to low. Try to make sure that you're getting your elbows and hands at least to the level of your ears on every single rep. The second pulling exercise is the elbowing row. This exercise is going to train the back of the shoulder very directly and is a great opposing position for the push-up. The elbow out position is often a vulnerable spot for athletes when they push. So by training the opposing muscle groups with a pulling exercise, you can improve the resilience of your shoulder in that position when you push. Remember to keep your elbow pointed out at 90 degrees from the body. I would recommend implementing a pause at the top position of each repetition just so you can make sure you're getting control and you're getting that rear delt to contract fully. Okay, the next category of movements is isometrics. The first isometric I used in my rehabilitation is the dip support. When thinking about bulletproofing the shoulder or any joint for that matter, I never overlook isometrics. Too often people get focused on dynamic contractions and skip out on the benefit of just holding static positions. With the dip support, I want you to be sure that you're starting out with shorter time domains so that you can be in strong hold positions throughout. We want to be sure you aren't letting your shoulders cave in. You want to be actively pushing your body up as hard as you can. If you want to add some intensity, you can lift your knees up or just extend the time frame that you're holding for. The next powerful shoulder isometric is the side plank. The side plank is often viewed as a core exercise mainly, but I do like the loading position it offers for the shoulder as well. There are very few other exercises that place the shoulder in this position with load on it at this particular angle. You want to make sure that the elbow is directly under the shoulder. If you can feel yourself contracting your lat muscle ever so slightly and attempting to pull that elbow down towards your side, that will coordinate the full shoulder optimally for this exercise. All right, moving into the fourth category of movements, we're looking at rotation or rotator cuff muscles. The first exercise is the dumbbell external rotation. Rotation at the shoulder can't be overlooked in building healthy shoulders. I find that dumbbell external rotation is great for building flexibility back into the shoulder, as well as combating the negative impacts of the shoulders rolling forward that we see so much in those of us who sit for long hours at a desk every day. When you set up for this, make sure that your upper arm is parallel to the floor. I don't want you to worry so much about the shoulder rolling forward when you're lowering the dumbbell down. I see too many coaches caution against this, but as you roll forward with your shoulder, you get a deeper stretch and contraction of the opposing muscles that are going to be pulling the dumbbell back up to the top position. So don't sweat it. The second big rotation or rotator cuff movement is the band pull apart. These are a staple in almost every single upper body training session or training day that I do. The ease of setup and the potency of this movement is just unmatched. The back of the shoulders can get a massive pump very quickly and safely. I want you to mix up the grip and body position as you're seeing here. Supinated grips, pronated grips, arms horizontal, arms at an angle up, or even arms at an angle down. Okay, the last category of movements that we'll look at are the dynamic movements and the carries. The first exercise is the Turkish get-up. This is by far the most complex movement introduced today and does require some practice and skill building. Once the skills are developed, This movement covers so much shoulder strength, stability, and flexibility that it cannot be ignored. Some tips for the Turkish get-up are: first, move slowly through the full range of motion. Don't rush this one. This exercise can be done without weight to start, or even just by holding a light 2.5-pound weight plate. The first two moves in the Turkish get-up are where the bulk of the shoulder benefits come from, so take these two positions slowly. The first is the press up off the floor into what I call first position, and then the second movement is when we bridge the hips up, we sweep the leg underneath, and we find ourselves in a kneeling position. The final position or final exercise of the day is the kettlebell rack hold or kettlebell rack carry. So once again, we're bringing back isometric contractions. That's just exactly how important they are. This time, we're using external load in a bent arm position. Holding kettlebells in the rack position is a great way to build shoulder strength and train good shoulder stability mechanics. Some important points of performance for the rack: keep the elbows pointed down throughout your carry or your hold. Ideally, you will bring your knuckles together in the front of your body. You want to pack your shoulders down and back as opposed to shrugging them up in the air. I hope seeing these movements gave you some ideas on how to navigate your shoulder health. One thing I know for sure is that when our bodies feel healthy, it is so easy to neglect our self-care. However, the moment that we start to feel pain and have our abilities taken away from us, we get very focused on how to heal. I'm no different. So I always put movements like these into my Persist programming so that I constantly am getting a dose of shoulder health training each and every week, regardless of how strong or hurt my shoulders feel. A little bit of bulletproofing will go a long way. Before you go, don't forget to jump down to the description below. There's going to be a link to grab 2 shoulder bulletproofing circuits that I wrote incorporating these movements specifically. Go ahead, toss them into any one of your training sessions as a finisher or as a prep session. And until next time, take care and have a happy and safe new year.